Hello, this is Eric from labofcoding.com. In the last video, we introduced the Django admin dashboard and we registered our to-do model in the dashboard, and we used the admin interface to create a new record in the to-do table. In this video, we're going to pick up from that, and instead of using the admin dashboard to insert records in our table, we are going to use the Django ORM, Django Object Relational Mapper. So let's drop into the Python shell, and we will do that. We'll run those, we will use the ORM in the Python shell. So instead maybe of opening the Python shell with Python 3, we will use a management command provided by Django to open the Python shell, which is python manage.py shell. So why we use this command instead of just typing Python or Python 3 is because when you use this command, Django automatically sets your project in the Python path. So it's easy to import objects from your project in the shell. In this case, it's easy even to import applications, models, and everything that is in your project and can be imported. So let's import the to-do model from the main app. So that will be from main.models import to-do. So Django has an excellent ORM which makes it easy for you to interact with your underlying database. So every model class usually has an attribute known as objects, and it is the objects. It is this object called objects which you use to run the commands to access data, to update data, and so forth. So we will use that object. It's called a manager, and on every model instance is known as objects, and it has methods which you can run to do whatever operation you want to do in the database, maybe to create a new record, to update, to count, to filter, and so forth. So it has a method which you can use to fetch all the rows that are in your database. So it is to do .objects, which is the manager object which manages your interaction with the database, and the method that you can use to fetch all the objects in the database is in the table. It's called all. So it will return a query set objects. A query set is just like any other iterable in Python. So you can loop through it and access. So it will be an iterable of to-do instances fetched from your database. So let's say, for example, for to-do in, let's run that again, to-do.objects.all. Let's say for every to-do, let's just print the title. Sorry, just print to-do.title. Awesome. So we have only one object in our database, so that's why the query set has only returned that object. Yeah, and as expected, it has another method that you can use to create new records in your database table. That method is called create. So our to-do model has a date object, a date field, so we may need to import the datetime module so that we can insert dates. So from datetime, import datetime. Yeah, so, and we can also use the time delta object so that we can easily create future dates. So from datetime, import time delta. Yeah, so let's say today, that one will be just datetime dot num. And let's say tomorrow. So tomorrow, let's use the time delta object to add a date. So let's say time delta. Let's add 1 day. So that argument is days, and we add 1 day there. See tomorrow. Yeah. So we have tomorrow pointing to the day after today. Yeah. So let's create a new to-do object in the table. So that should be objects to-do.objects. The method is called create, and it receives keyword arguments, which are just the fields on your model plus the values that you want to save in the database. So let's say the title of our to-do will be read the docs. Let's say that this description will be read the Django docs on models, and let's say the due date, let's say we'll use the tomorrow. So that one we need it tomorrow, and we have a done field on the model, but we won't pass it because it has a default value of false. So Django, when saving it, will just use that value of false. So if all is well here, if we enter, that one will create a new record in the to-do table. If we refresh here, you'll see that we have created a new record known as read the docs. So the ORM also has a method you can use to count all the objects, all the rows in your table. So that will be django.objects.count, and this one just returns an integer value, count. And we have 2 records, so it has given us 2. The ORM also has another method you can use to get the first object, and another one to get the last objects. So let's say the last object to be inserted, that is in your table. So that will be true.objects.last. Take note that this one returns a to-do instance, or the instance of whatever model you have queried. So let's say last.title, let's read the docs because it's the latest object or the last object we have inserted. And also another method, to-do.objects.first, which returns the first objects in your table. Yeah. So there are many methods that the ORM exposes. They are called query set methods. We can go to the Django documentation and just have a quick overview. Say it's good for you to come to the documentation and go through these methods and see what you can use and where they are applicable. Let's search for the query set reference. The query set API reference. It is where the methods, the query set methods are listed. So we have used quite a few, and there are many. We have used the all, which returns all the objects in your database. So it should be good for you to come the docs and see, maybe, and read through quickly and see what you may need to use in your projects. And another thing, the ORM has the query set methods, usually query set objects have a query attribute that you can use to inspect the SQL that will be used for that query. So let's say our query was to do objects.all. So the query set object return has a query attribute which just prints the SQL that was generated for that command or was used for that command. We have to print this one, so that one will be q dot query. Yeah, so this is the command, this is the SQL that was used when you run this query set method to do .objects.all. Yeah, so Django automatically, the Django ORM in the background generates the SQL for us, and when we run this method, it's evaluated on the table and it gives us the value. Again, another function of the ORM is to convert the database types into Python types. So it will convert the database datetime object to a Python datetime object and so forth. Yeah. And there is another important method which you'll use quite often, filter, which instead of returning all the rows in your database, you can filter based on given conditions. Let's say, for example, you want to return objects only which have a title of read the docs. So we'll use the filter method to do objects.filter, and let's say you want the title, which is read the docs. Yeah, it has returned for us that a query set with that object, because we only have one row which has a title of read the docs. And another thing to mention, these methods are lazily evaluated and they are chainable. That is, you can chain one method on another. Say, for example, you want to filter the rows that have a title of read the docs and you also want to count them. So we will change the count method on top of the filter method, and it will give us a count of the objects which have a title of read the docs. It returns 1 because we only have one object which has that title and so forth. So yeah, there is also a method that you can use to delete. So let's say that you want to delete all objects which have a title of read the docs. So what you can do is you can filter and then we can delete. So through.objects.filter, where the title is read the docs and we want to delete. So it will query for all rows which have a title of read the docs and it will delete all of them. So when you're using delete, just be careful so that you don't accidentally delete data that you may be useful in your project. So it will delete the to do which has a title of read the docs. If we try to count the rows that have a title of read the docs, we get a value of 0 because that one has been deleted. If we check in the admin, we'll say that it is no longer there. Yeah, and also there is a method you can update the values in the database. So let's say, for example, let's get the first object to be let's say first is to do .objects.first. You return the first instance. So you can set new values which you can then update in the underlying database. So let's say you want to update the title. So let's update it from buy fish. I say buy laptop. That's random. So the this instance, the to-do instance or any model instance, has a method of save, which when it will update the row in the database with the new values that you have set. So we can say save. So it will update the title to buy laptop. So if we refresh here, you see that the title has been updated to buy laptop. And also you can update multiple objects at once. That is, you can filter objects which meet a certain filter condition and then update all of them. Let's say, for example, you want to filter the objects where the title is buy laptop, and you want to update the title or we want to update the done value to true, because by default it's value. So update, and then we will pass the value that you want to update as a keyword argument. So you want to update the done field, and you want to set it to true, that this to do has been done. Sorry, this was supposed to be laptop, and update done to true. So it will return the number of objects that have been updated. In this case, we have updated only one object. Yeah. So that's it for this tutorial. In next tutorials, we will see how we can play around with the ORM more, and use other methods that are provided. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.